Happy to do that. Hello, 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 everyone. This is Elizabeth Clare Brewington with Discover Brightside, and we are so excited to have Mark Bello, and he's been on our show before, but we didn't get a lot of time with him before, so we're excited to talk about his new book and all the interesting things about him. And I'd like to just read his bio real quick so you can get re-familiar with him. So Mark M. Bello, he's an attorney, a social justice advocate, and an award-winning author of the Zachary Blake legal thriller series. Mark also writes for legal and political content sites, and he hosts a legal themed podcast, Justice Counts, on the Spreaker network. A Michigan native, Mark and his wife have 4 children and 9 grandchildren. Wow, we're going to talk.
Update. I have 10 grandchildren now.
Oh, 10. Okay. Update. So that sounds really exciting. Uh, now, this book that's out is called The Love-Hate Law, the Kramer-O'Hara legal romance series. And it is a very romantic novel. I'm in the middle of it. And my goodness, it gives you a thrill and chill. And it's one of those books you just can't put down. Without further ado, let's get into the studio and dive right into this great guy. Uh, so
there
Mark,
there are
welcome.
people who would argue with you, but
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome.
thank you.
And we're so excited to have you and launch your new book with us. Um, and this is about Michigan. So this is interesting because you live there. So that's a perfect location. So tell me a little bit about yourself and what led to this book. And I know you've written, many, many books, but tell us about this one.
Well, you've already told the people about me. Um, I practiced law for almost 50 years, and my first book, Betrayal of Faith, was based on an actual case that I handled.
Hmm.
So I always promised myself as kind of a bucket list item that I read a book about the experience. And I thought I was a one and done author. I had written Betrayal of Faith. I thought that was it for me. And then some things started to happen in the news in real life that I thought would make compelling fiction. So I started writing a novel or two about events that happened in the news. And
Mm.
once I started to do that, uh, and realized that I could write fiction based on fact that didn't directly impact me, like the case that Betrayal of Faith was based on, uh, that kind of propelled me into writing many more novels in now different genres like this one.
Hmm.
And that's kind of how it got started. I never fashioned myself to be a novelist. I didn't start this career until I was 65 years old. So
Hmm.
that's by itself kind of unusual, I would think. But
Yeah.
the reason I wrote Love Hate Law is because I wanted to kind of experiment with other genres. Romance is a popular genre, and I noticed that while there are many romance novels that are set in the medical profession,
Mm.
I didn't see a whole lot set in the legal profession. And I know from experience that many romances, many marriages, many connections have been made in the legal profession as much as perhaps in the medical profession. So I set out to write a book about a relationship developing between two courtroom combatants. And that's essentially what Love Hate Law is about.
Mm. Wow.
It
I
also
didn't.
true
Mm.
to my true to my other books. It also takes a couple of topics that have been in the news and makes them the centerpiece cases of these two people. So
No, I think
that's essentially what Love Hate Love is about.
I love the characters. Michael,
Thank you.
Andrea, they make great and you're right. The whole setting in the riot scene, I think that brings it to what we're dealing with these riots and everything that's going on. And I think that the setting for the book and the storyline is really perfect for this generation because it's very relatable um, and and I really do think that having this great trial scene with a man and a woman, you know, on opposite sides, making it even more exciting. So I don't want to give away the book because we want people to buy it.
Please
Uh,
don't.
but tell me a little bit about these characters. I mean, you know, just what, how did you create them? And just fantastic characters. I think this book is just ready to be made into a movie because as I was reading it, I could almost, you know, feel like I was right there in the courtroom and at the scene. So you've done a great job with the description of the scenes and the setting and it's a really good book. And I've read your other books, but I think this one is really good. And maybe because I'm a romantic at heart, so so um
Well,
so
I
tell me
love
a
you.
little
I
bit about
love you.
these characters. Yeah, what
Thank you. I love you. Good night.
so tell me about these characters and what made you evolve into them. Yeah.
That's a hard question to answer. It's
All right.
surprisingly. I mean, I'm not a plotter.
All right.
I'm a pantser.
That's fine.
You know what that means?
I'm
You,
not
you,
a plotter, but I'm a pantser. Uh,
most of does most of your audience know what that means?
well,
A
explain
lot
it.
of people will uh, create an idea, uh, create a detailed outline, and start writing from an outline.
Mm-hmm.
I think of an idea and I immediately start writing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and I write by the seat of my pants, hence the term pantser. So it isn't like I sat there and
So,
said, what do I want Andrea to be? What do I want Michael to be? How do I want them to meet? How do I want them to interact? Um, but as I start writing, uh, I, I I like the idea of starting a novel with a an insurrection scene, similar to what happened on January 6th in Washington D.C.
I was going to say that.
In
Yep.
in this book, you'll find out real quickly that it happens at the state level
Mm-hmm.
at the Michigan Capitol.
Mm-hmm.
So I certainly wanted one of the characters to represent the woman who was killed in the insurrection. And I guess that's a spoiler,
Mm-hmm.
but it happened so early in the book. I think I can spoil it.
Mm.
First 10 pages, I think,
Yep.
frankly. So uh, her the young girl's father pays a visit to, as it turns out, Andrea Kramer.
Mm-hmm.
So Andrea becomes the plaintiff lawyer and the person who represents the victim. Michael O'Hara is a defense lawyer. He works for a corporate firm, and he's hired by the state of Michigan to represent the state's interest and the governor, the disgraced governor, who is now in hiding somewhere. Um, once you create that dynamic, now it's time to dig into the characters a bit. I thought it would be better if Michael, the man, was the quote bad boy unquote, and the guy that represents corporate and government interests, and this young lady be the compassionate, uh, rabble rousing victims' right advocate. And that is essentially the dynamic of the two characters, at least in the beginning portions of the book.
I agree. I totally agree. I love the characters. Um and I love the drama. So get the book. We're going to make sure that you have it
It's
on our book list. It's great, I think, given that the weather is changing and you want to catch a great book. I can bring the slides up. But this is going to be on our recommended list, and we hope you will enjoy it, and write us a review if you do buy the book, because then we know you're paying attention. We want our audience to get more social media involved. So we love it when you write a review, when you buy the book, when you comment, because it makes our community even stronger and have some power. So get the book, and as you can see, Mark has written several books, and being an attorney, he gives you the facts. So you get all that detail that you love in a courtroom drama scene. So tell us about your podcast, Justice Counts. I was reading your bio and I said, this sounds like a really good podcast.
Justice Counts is a pro justice attorney driven podcast. We have guests primarily from various legal perspectives on issues of the day, whether it be from, I don't know, the Israeli Hamas crisis, the issues with Trump and his legal problems, issues with specific areas of the law, the immigration crisis, the I had a divorce mediator on once. Pick an area of the law, and we'll have a guest about it to explain to the people a little better about
What's
various
going
issues in
on?
the law. For instance, we had a gun control expert on who discussed the Second Amendment and whether or not, and the answer is not, whether the Second Amendment prevents common sense gun control.
Yeah.
It does not prevent common sense gun control. But politics gets in the way, and sometimes common sense yields to political advocacy, and that's unfortunate.
And it's such a need, I think, for us to know the facts, because there's so much fake news going on and there's so much distorted versions of stories. So I think a podcast like yours is valuable because not only you yourself are an expert, but then you're bringing experts on different subject matters. I always say this, and I'm sure many generations say this, but I think our generation, the world that we're living in, I don't think any other civilization has gone through so much in one lifetime. So having a podcast like yours is awesome, and I applaud you for having it. And I'm looking forward to catching some of the shows and watching some of the episodes. So without further ado, I want to quickly remind everybody why we're here. So Brightside, we need you to get this book. We need you to write a review. We need you to write some comments on this YouTube or Facebook or Instagram, wherever you get this broadcast streamed to you, so that we know you enjoyed the interview, and you enjoyed meeting Mark as much as we have. So thank you for watching. Discover Brightside, where we discover everything, new books, new products, new services, and we bring them to you so you can enjoy them and have some fun with it. So thank you for watching. Discoverbrightside.com.